Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paddock Podcast, and joining me is an absolute legend. Webby is back on the channel. Webby, how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Jay. Good, yeah. Been a few weeks since we had you spitting brews out and all that, you and Steve. No, it's been a while since obviously the Arsenal game, obviously, which I didn't think we played that bad, really. You're disappointing the 3-1 result. If things go our way, we could come away at least a point, maybe 3, but massive game for us Saturday against a very good team in Brighton. I think it's probably one of the best teams to play. You know what you're going to get with Brighton. They're going to come at you. So are we up for it? Hopefully by 10 to 5 o'clock, we've got 3 points in the bag because we need them. I feel sorry for the manager, mate. With all what's going on recently. Scared of opening putting a TV on now with something happening. Bad, isn't it? You know what I mean? Statement FC from Banton FC. Statement FC. It's disappointing, mate. And you know what? I'd be truthful with you now, Jay. If the manager walks, I won't blame him. I won't have a go at him, mate. Look, he's not signed up for all this crap, has he?
No, it's...
He come here with the thing of getting United back at the top table of English football. And we're far from it at the moment, mate. You know what I mean? In little bits. And we can't afford to lose players. We've not got the best squad as it is, which we'll speak about in a minute. But, I thought this year, right, Antony, it's your time to come on now. You come over, you're playing in Ajax with no disrespect to the Dutch league. It's not on par. It's on par with the Gorton Sunday League, the Dutch league. So, and I expect him to come on now. How long this is going to take, I don't know, but then he's going to have to get back fit and all that. But he gives Palestri a chance. I'm a massive fan of his.
Oh, yeah.
And people say, Sheffield United on loan, no, please. And he's stayed now, so I really hope he starts on Saturday.
It's a good job he stayed, isn't it? Because he could have ended up.
Other than that, we'll have now Danny Wallace.
Mate, I'm telling you, we're getting down to the bottom of the barrel here with the amount of players we're losing. Obviously, we'll get into some of that a bit later on. Make sure you throw in your questions for me and Webby. Let us know your thoughts on Manchester United. You can see from the thumbnail about Graeme Souness has been firing shots at the entire window for Manchester United. He's laying into players before they've even kicked the ball.
Pogba's faulted it.
Yeah, he loves Pogba, doesn't he? Graeme Souness. He's crazy about him. He's his favourite player. So we'll get into that. But first of all, Webby, I want to remind you a little bit about the last time you was on this channel. You came on with me and Steve on the brew, right? Now listen.
There's another part to that story, right? But I think I'll save that to the next brew.
We were chatting to him before. We're going to get him on the brew a lot more, right? Because this is the Paddock Podcast. In case you don't know, we talk about what's going on with United and with football now and all the latest news and all that sort of stuff. On the brew, we talk about all sorts, whether it's films, whether it's United, whether it's years ago, or in Webby's case, some of his mates. And some of the stuff they get up to. And I'm telling you, right, I've been doing podcasts for about a decade with Stephen Howson, and I've not seen me and him laughing like we did when he was on. He had us in stitches, we were spitting our brews out, we were hysterical. Go and check this out. This is Webby telling us a couple of stories. This was from the brew a couple of weeks ago.
It was Italian Reds. They couldn't speak a word of the Queen's English. So what we did, one of them could speak a bit of it. He said, if you write down as many United songs, we can check home. You're on free.
On the single on Webby.
You're on free beard all. You're on free beard all day.
You've killed Steve. It's finally over.
Yeah. So you can imagine I'm sat there with these steins of ale, with a notepad and pen writing every United song and all down and not buying a pint all day.
I'm done, mate. I'm done.
Happy days.
You've finally broken him.
Cheers.
Hey, you've done him. Oh my. Writing down songs for Italian
Reds. I tell you, I was blind drunk. I tell you
Skip Rat, what a lovely nickname.
Right.
Hey.
Oh, Christ.
Skip Rat.
We took him to Wembley with us. Didn't have a ticket.
I'm not going to Wembley with us like he's some mascot.
And we give him a betting slip.
So let's bring Skip Rat.
We give him a betting slip. Yeah, this is the truth.
Right.
Give him a betting slip, and on it said to the turnstile bloke, "Let me in. I've got a gun." And he's got in. The cup final, and at half time.
Well, to be fair, I'm pressing that pedal as well, Webby. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not paid enough for that. In you go, son.
Unbelievable.
Did he know this? Did he read this before he got
Couldn't read. We just told him it was a match ticket. Sorry, but he got in, didn't he? You know what I mean? Yeah. Pedro, still going, mate. He was our mascot for the Grey Mare. Some great times, best time. Tommy Grogan, character.
Why do we invite you back on here, man? You nearly ended the channel. We couldn't do anything for about a week.
I can't wait for the next one, Jake, because I've got a right few more stories.
He's coming back on the brew. Honestly, I was crying. Me and Steve were crying about that. And everyone keeps talking to me about that.
There was things, Jake, when I left here, and I forgot about. And when I got to the door, I thought,
you messaged me.
Skip, that's it. Headwear for the day. Forgot all about that. And I spoke to Sam about it to confirm, because I thought it was a dream in it. But Sam said, no, Webby, you're right. Remember what he had written on it. But we'll save that for
We're saving that. Don't worry, right? We're going to have Webby back on the brew if me and Steve can cope. Very soon. So yeah, he'll be back on there. Loads of people just laughing emojis. Webby is the one, says Ben Sorville. Uncle Webby's a legend, says Mum Chill Michev. Jay's Park says, afternoon Jay, afternoon Uncle Webby. Legends of the YouTube game. You two are. Viva Uncle Webby, says Ryan Yanni. And Jacoya Trot says this was the best brew. That was my favourite ever brew. That was my favourite. I love the brew on a Friday afternoon. It's proper wind down tackle, and that was absolutely hilarious. Loved it. We need a bit of light relief at the minute, Webby, because Manchester United is doom and gloom FC at the minute. Like you said, it's statement FC. Yeah. One thing though, right, when it comes to United, I'll admit that it is a bit of a shambles and that, you know, not everything isn't rosy, but I think we need a bit of context as well. We have got a lot of good players, and we have got a good manager, and we've lost a couple of games already this season, but you know, it's 6 points from 4 games, not great, but it's still early doors. There's plenty of time to get going again. Graeme Souness isn't having it at all, and he's done what he does best, and he's started firing shots at Manchester United. He did an interview, I think it was, for the Express. I mentioned it in my Gazette on Sunday morning where I look at the papers. And he's just basically said that United wasted the transfer window, this window with the players that we'd bought in, spending 183.5 million quid, calls it a transfer spree, and he said it was a wasteful transfer spree. We'll get into what Graeme Souness said in a minute. First of all, I want to ask you about this window we've just had. What do you make of it? Are you happy with it? Do you think we've wasted money? Do you think it's a good window? Do you think we've got the players in we needed, or where do you stand on it?
I'm a bit up and down, Jay. I'll be truthful.
Okay.
I think we could have brought different kind of players in what we needed. We should have brought a centre forward in a lot earlier. Messing around. I think we should have gone higher for Kane, in my opinion. Put that with what we paid for the young lad. We should have went in for Kane. Whether Kane would have come on, Mr. Levy would have dealt with United. Only things we'll tell. But he's gone now. He's gone to Munich. And we missed the boat on that one, because I think we're getting Harry Kane in. I don't think we'd have been too far behind. That's my opinion. But to be honest, Jay, I'm a bit up and down. Amrabat, seen him in the World Cup, but now he's injured apparently. Hopefully it won't be too long. You never know, he could play Saturday. I just don't know, Jay. I'm up and down. I just don't think, and I'm not going to come on here or any channel and slag, but I don't think we needed Mason Mount. It wasn't a player we needed. Okay. That's me personally. I'm not saying I think he's a great player, just I don't think we need him. I just think the goalkeeping situation, I think it was right for Dave to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Who's still on the beer, by the way. He's not found the club, has he?
What do you make of that, Webber?
I think it's...
For a player like David De Gea, right, who's, 31, 32, still, goalkeeping terms, he's got another 3 or 4, 5 years left.
6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah, look at Van der Sar. We bought him when he was 35.
Yeah.
He's been player of the year at United 4 times in 6 seasons, I think it was, or 4 in 5 years. Just won the Golden Glove last season. More clean sheets in the Premier League than any other goalkeeper. And can't get a club. What do you make of that?
I find it strange. I find it very, very strange that even the Saudi option was, with him being out of contract and being with no club, then he can just sign for someone as a free agent now. I don't know how the rules work, Jay. You'll tell me that. You're right. You've nailed it. He can but the thing
sign
is
for anyone.
And other clubs, these top clubs, thinking, well, he's not the goalkeeper. He was. He made a few bad mistakes for us last year. You look at Brentford away, you look at West Ham away, you look at the Everton game in the Cup when he come out, someone forgot to press his head, and his legs were all over the place. I just think that it's very strange. There's a lot of talk of him the other week, got to Real Madrid when their goalkeeper got injured, but then they signed the kid from Chelsea. Just find it strange, I just think that on his day, he's as good as anybody. And for him not to find a club, if he was 38, 39, I'd say fair enough.
Do you think there's this argument with De Gea that the game's leaving him behind? That modern goalkeepers now, and when I say modern, I mean almost any goalkeeper in any team is expected to be able to play with the feet, is expected to command their area, is almost meant to be like that Manuel Neuer sweeper keeper, or Barthez, that type of keeper going back a bit, who likes to play and get involved, and he's not that guy. Do you think that's what the issue is, or do you think he's just maybe his wages. What do you reckon it is?
Be the issues, Jay, but he's still a top-class keeper. The keeper's there to save the goals, not to dribble around players.
Yeah.
If you do that, it's an added bonus, and like you're saying, the game's moving on. But he's still a great goalkeeper. You know, we've seen that ourselves. All the Reds who are watching this show now, who around the world or whatever, know he's a great goalkeeper, and he had some great performances last year, and it proved that with a Golden Glove.
Yeah.
But for him not to find the club, is he bothered? What's his agent doing? Because his agent's obviously thinking, hang on, there's a right load of bugs bunting we made here.
Yeah.
There's no transfer fee, so we can hit these with a right wallet.
This is what someone's saying. I agree. I do sort of, I know this sounds contradictory. I get your point about he's been a great goalkeeper, or he's a great goalkeeper. I do think his levels have dropped a little bit. Vincent Foucault says, Jay, De Gea's wage demand is the reason for his ongoing unemployment. Maybe like what Webby's saying there, maybe his agent's saying, look, there's no transfer fee. Yeah. He's got a good few years left in him. If you want him, you've got to pay the money. I think he was the highest paid goalkeeper in the world at United.
Yeah, you're probably right, Jay.
We gave him that big contract, didn't we, when he was going to go to Madrid?
How much money did he want? You know, if you love the game, I know it's all about money, Jay, and I can come on and say stupid things like, if you love the game, that's all gone now. You know, it's about how much you take home every week, but surely he's got ambitions to win more trophies, break more records, whether he get back into the Spanish setup.
He's not been in the Spanish team for about 3 years, has he?
Well, that's a strange thing, but obviously
choice.
The manager didn't fancy him. You know, I found it very strange. But as a United fan, hang on, you're not going to really stupid matches. You got your feet up at home in Hale Barnes.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that. I hope no United players ever get picked for any team.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to hold their feet up, but find it very strange. And time goes in life quick, and football goes quicker. You know, we're a month into the season now around the world, and he's still not found a club. Are you going to see him pictured at Christmas in a bar in Tenerife with a massive gut on him? You know, when he's just got on the beard and he's thinking, well, I've got all that money now, sod it.
I don't know, because it's weird with Gea, because at times I don't think he did enjoy it. I think the pressure was on him, because he looked a little like he suffered from a bit of confidence issues at times. Not all the time, but you could see, you know, some of the mistakes he made you think, that's a player that's, it's on him a little bit. But I do feel like, at United, Gary Neville said it the other week, your mate, he said, probably the job with the most pressure in world football is goalkeeper for Man United. With the most attention, I'm paraphrasing. But if you think of any position in the world where you're going to get scrutinised more than any, it's probably in net for Manchester United Football Club. And David De Gea did that, and he did it for what, 11, 12 years, or whatever it was. So you think if he went to another club now, there wouldn't be as much pressure. He could go, unless he, maybe he went to Madrid or Barcelona, that's not going to happen. So if he went to, let's say he went to Spurs, I know he won't, but let's say he'd gone there, it's not going to be the same amount of scrutiny that you get at Manchester United. No. It's not going to be everyone, you're all over the back page if you make a mistake, or you've got 76,000 fans going, when you do something. It's going to be different. I think he might come out of his shell a bit. I don't know, it is a little bit of a mad one, because I thought someone would have come in for him. And, maybe it is wages or whatever, but it's a shame, because I think David De Gea, he's a model professional. He's a good lad. I just think his levels have dropped a little bit, but I still think that there's clubs out there that should be knocking down the door to get David De Gea, because like you say, he just won the Golden Glove. Still, he's got some pedigree. I just think, maybe he just needs to drop down a level. I'm not saying he goes to the Championship or something like that. Maybe he needs to go to a smaller club, and maybe he's holding out. Maybe he's had offers from like lower league Spanish clubs, whatever, and he's going, I want a big club in
Champions League football. Only time will tell, Jay, but he needs to do it soon, mate, before he throws a few pounds on, then falls out of love with the game. You're thinking, 3 or 4 months I'm not going to train in here. Fancy that. Because there's no bottle of wine. You know what I mean?
This is it. Jesse Lingard, there's rumours of him going back to West Ham, because he's not got a club either, has he? No. He went to Forest, which was a disaster.
Found it very strange that how he just signed a 1-year deal. I know he was on great amounts of money there, but surely he could have said to them, give us a 3 or 4 year deal, and he would have done it.
Yeah, of course he would have.
I find it strange, but
to be honest with you, though,
good luck to Jesse. When he was at West Ham on loan for us, he looked absolutely mint, didn't he?
He did.
He looked really, and he fitted well for West Ham. He suited their system.
I think in terms of goals and assists for that 3 or 4 month period,
he was top notch, wasn't
it? He really was top notch. I'll tell you what else is top notch, Webber. Right? Manscapes, yes, because it's not smooth sack summer anymore. Autumn is here, or fall as they call it in America. Well, I don't call it fall. I call it autumn because I'm English.
Stretford.
I'm from Eccles. I've lived in Stretford. Yeah. I've lived in Stretford. I've lived in Elmsall. I've lived in Python. Lived all over me. Yeah. Been about a bit, but lived in Earlham. Yes. So it's not smooth sack summer anymore. But if you want to look after your autumn chestnuts, then you need to check out Manscaped. Yeah, using the code Devils20. There's a link in the I was going to say link in the prescription. No, in the description. You don't get a prescription for Manscaped. You don't need to worry about that. It's not a medical thing. You get a link in the description, using the code DEVILS20. Because we've all been there, where it's summer's there, you're unwinding, you're letting yourself go a little bit, or you're trying to get back into the swing of things, and you think, actually, I need to tidy myself up now. I'm not on my holidays anymore. I'm back at work. I'm back in the swing of things. Well, don't worry, because Manscaped have got you covered with the Performance Package 4.0. And with that, you get the Lawnmower 4.0, none of that 3.0 business, Bo. Come on, man. 4.0. You get the Crop Preserver, the Crop Toner. You get the Boxer Briefs. You get the Shears 2.0. These aren't nail clippers, right? Anyone who's telling you that is lying. These are much more than that. The Shears 2.0. You want to join one of the 8 million men worldwide, which is basically everyone, who trust Manscaped. So they're going to have you smelling nice. They're going to have you looking fresh. You've got a shed travel bag to put all that in. You've just got you covered, right? So you can go out there, you can make sure that your autumn chestnuts look great, yeah? Or as one of the producer Ethan was saying, your conkers, yeah? And apparently you can't, apparently conkers and chestnuts are different things, but whatever you want to call you know what I'm on about. Yeah, so go and check out Manscaped. Go and use the link in the description. Devils20, you're going to get your shed travel bag, you're going to get Crop Preserver, you're going to get the Boxer Briefs, you're going to get the Crop Toner, you're going to get the Shears 2.0, you're going to get the Lawnmower 4.0, you're going to smell fresh, you're going to look fresh, you've got a bag that's fresh to put it all in, and you're getting 20% off and free shipping, yeah? Your balls will thank you this autumn with Manscaped. Links in the description. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this podcast. Right, let's get into Graeme Souness, yeah? Talking of ball bags. There's an article here in the Express, which I'm not going to lie to you, if it wasn't part of my job, I'd never read. Yeah. But he's sort of talking about Manchester United. Now, Graeme Souness, as you mentioned earlier, he absolutely despised Paul Pogba. He had an issue with him. Now Paul Pogba's gone. He's turned his attention to other Manchester United players. And one thing I'll give Graeme Souness credit for here, he's not discriminated here with the Manchester United signings. He's basically gone in on all of them. They're all rubbish. Starting with the man who's played 20 minutes so far for Manchester United, Rasmus Hojlund. Souness said, I don't think United are going to get any better than they were last season. They've spent 72 million on a young centre-forward in Rasmus Hojlund, who has not got a great goal-scoring record. He played 34 games for Atalanta and only hit the back of the net 10 times. Now he's come to a league where it's really tough to get goals. So he's giving him a chance there, isn't it? He's saying, well, let's give the kid a chance before we start laying into him. Now, he obviously doesn't rate Rasmus Hojlund. He doesn't care how young he is. He's not interested. He's just saying 10 goals in 34 games, that's the end of that. We've seen a bit of Hojlund, haven't we? We've seen him in that cameo against Arsenal. You know what he's about. He's young, he's strong, he's fast. He gets amongst it, gets stuck in. Yeah. He is unproven. What do you make of Graeme Souness' comments? Do you think he's gone a bit early there? Or do you yourself have some reservations about Rasmus Hojlund because of the fact he's relatively unproven?
You've got to have a bit of a fact. Obviously, the record and the money we paid for him, Jay, it's a hell of a lot of money to pay for the kid. But he seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Only time will tell. I think if he gets the right service, he'll put the ball in the back of the net. But like saying, who are we going to have playing on the wing? You know what I mean? We don't know who's going to supply that. For me, I was very impressed with him at Arsenal at 20 minutes. He hustled and bustled. And I thought Martial did all right at Arsenal. I'm not saying he was rubbish or he was great. I thought he did okay. But it's something we've not had for ages. Yeah. Someone to, probably since maybe Sparky, to get that
stuck in.
Give him that elbow.
Yeah, let him know you're there.
Let him know you're there. I used to play with a few players who, at a decent age, and they just stand on like the centre-half's foot and just like pull him on the air and all that, just to know that they were there.
I mean, I do want Hojlund to get stuck in. I don't know if I want him to do the levels of you and your mates used to do back
in the day. No, you don't do that.
Because we don't want him red carded every week or, chinning people. But I get your point. Sam. You want a striker and who's not going to get bullied.
Yes.
We get bullied too often at United. Yeah. And there's a little bit of metal in that team. I think if you look at players like Martinez, like Casemiro, they'll get stuck in. They're not afraid to sort of have a go when they need to. There's other players who are strong. Bruno might throw himself on the floor a bit, but he gets about, he'll stick a tackle. Do you know what I mean? But someone like Hojlund leading that line, like you saying, do you remember that team with Sparky? You know better than anyone. Yeah. That was a team that could go...
Centre-half's new doing in a game before the ball was kicked. Usually was probably one of the quietest people off the pitch. Yeah. Very, very quietly spoken gentleman, but on the pitch, an absolute nutcase.
I mean...
And a top player.
You remember those games against Wimbledon?
He loved him.
Yeah.
He used to smash him all over.
Yeah.
You know,
I seen him once when he scored, and as he's celebrating, he runs off at Wimbledon, and he's levering people as he celebrates.
Yeah, that's
like
Sparky. Yeah. Remember him at Millwall away.
Millwall away. That sounds like
1989. We're getting beat 1-0. We won 2-1. If we'd have got beat that day, we would have gone like third from the bottom of the league.
Right.
And we won 2-1, and you know, I'm not only pretty good on him. I'm sure Sparky got the winner, and it was absolutely carnals in that United end.
Was you down there?
Yeah, I was down there. There was only about 600 or 700 United fans there. Cold Blow Lane.
South Bermondsey on a Saturday afternoon. Interesting.
Very interesting.
You can tell me off camera. I don't know what the statute of limitations are on things like that.
Very interesting, but you know, Sparky was a great player, you know, and a lot of my friends and even me at some point when he became City manager, for that bit of time he was there, it took that what he had for Sparky, but as soon as he left City, it come back.
Yeah.
But Hughes was a great player, you know, an absolute tremendous player. You know, I was gutted the day he left. You know, you remember him coming on the pitch and saying he signed his new contract, and a week later he signed for Chelsea. I was devastated.
I know. We've
not signed the contract, but Hughes is great player.
Didn't score a tap in, did he?
No. Absolute
world. Did you ever watch Mark Hughes' highlights? Because I know a lot of fans won't know what we're on about.
When a goal he scored for Wales over at the volley. Mickey Thomas was playing that day. Mickey, I think it was Spain 3-0. They beat Spain 3-0 at Wrexham. And I always remember the volley he scored against Southampton in the League Cup.
Do you know
Clive Tilsley was commentating as well. I didn't go to that one. If you can watch that on YouTube, the volley, I forget what he says now, but the commentary is mint.
Love that. Mint. Go and find that.
Clive Tilsley, a volley at the Dell.
Do you know what I loved as well? When we beat the Scousers 3-1 in the Rumbelows Cup.
Yeah.
And he scored that one from about 25 yards.
Over Grobline, he had his ankle all...
I was there. I was only 9.
He had his ankle all taped up as well. White tape on it,
Brilliant. So that you feel like we've got someone like that in Hojlund?
Yeah,
I don't want to put pressure on him saying he's going to do Matthews, but someone who's going to get stuck in.
That's what we need, you know.
Hold it up.
I've seen some centre-halves come to Old Trafford or playing at their ground, and we made them look like Franco Baresi because no one's got stuck into him. No. You know, I mean, players who are past the sell-by date who've looked absolutely mint against us, then a week later probably played City or Liverpool and been absolutely destroyed.
Yeah,
but walking around the pitch with a cigar, and I'm thinking, this shouldn't happen, but hopefully he'll put himself about and
do you know what I
ruffle a few feathers.
You saw it against Nottingham Forest, right? We got some chances in that game where the ball's been put into the box and there's no one there.
Yeah.
There was one chance that went into that box, right? And Martial and Rashford are both stood near each other, sort of edge of the box, left-hand side, almost stood next to it, almost like marking each other. I'm not having a dig at them two, but sometimes you want a player whose instinct is get in that box.
Like Rude was.
Yeah, and I feel like Hojlund will do that. I feel like he'll do the things you spoke about, but he'll get in there as well and just get on the end. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Let us know what you think. We're not... You know, Webby's making a great point there. We don't know with Hojlund. He's still relatively unproven, but from what we've seen, he looks like the type of player we need. Do you agree? This is a great one. The English class says, Hughes equaliser, Oldham semi. So good.
Do you know what?
Mate, I was at that game.
I was drunk as a monkey.
Right, well, I was only 14.
Drunk as a monkey. Yeah. I thought we won 3-1. It didn't run until a Monday morning when I read the papers that it was 1-1.
How did you think we won 3-1?
Bottle of Jack Daniels. That's what made me.
Were you celebrating Hughes' goal like it was the third?
I just thought we won 3-1. Jay Henry still
I've done them once.
Got no 1-1 replay at Main Road. What are you on about,
mate? Honestly, I came out
drunk
Wembley
as a monkey
with a bloody nose because the guy hugged me near me.
Yeah,
he just hugged me that
we
much.
We were
terrible. We were much better than Oldham as a team, but we battered him, didn't we, in the replay? But yeah, players like Hughes, absolute fans' favourite, and I'm hoping Hojlund can be that. He looks like the type of player the fans could get behind.
Oh, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? We love a striker, don't we?
If they put that effort in,
yeah,
you know, and they fight, and then I've said it on here and on my channel that I want players to fight for that badge. Not worry about the wages, not worry about the house or the there. Fight for that badge. Young, hungry players.
Yeah,
I'll take that all day long, and hopefully he'll be one of them, and he can come in and score us 15, 20 goals. But put that battle in, put that effort in, put it in for the badge and the fans.
I've just put a link to your channel in the chat, by the way. Go and have a look at Webby's channel, Webby and O'Neill. Go and check that out. Always good stuff to see Webby on there. Someone's pointed it out here. Well, first of all, smash a like. Yeah, do smash a like as well. Someone's asked, not pointed out, someone's asked for your opinion on the Sancho situation. Because we'll get to Souness in a minute. But Jadon Sancho, he's meant to be having these crunch talks with the manager today. They probably already happened. I think they're in training, aren't they, this morning? So hopefully they've had a chat and resolved it, or at least, come to some sort of arrangement or agreement or whatever. What do you make of it all? Do you blame the players, blame the manager, a bit of both? Neither? What's your thoughts?
I just thought it was strange the manager coming out after the Arsenal game and saying what he said about him not performing. Fergie keeps that in-house. No one knows about that till one of the rats let it out a few days later, and then it's all chip paper news then.
Yeah.
They was going to ask him why Sancho wasn't in the squad. They asked him about Scott. Scott was poorly, allegedly.
Yeah.
They asked him he's not been performing training, which they found strange. You keep the dirty washing behind closed doors.
What do you think he should have done then? Do you think he should have lied or just said he just wasn't available, or
just says it's an internal issue at the club, and then it's put to bed. Then he did say it's been dealt with by the club. He wasn't selected today. He'll be up for selection for the next game if he's fit or whatever. But I just think him coming out, Jay, it just brings a bigger story. All the press get on it, and like now, if it would have been he's just unavailable today, no one speaks about it now.
Yeah.
They're still speaking about it now. Obviously, you said today about these crunch talks. I just think it's poor. I think Erik should have been a bit better by not saying anything. He should realise what the British press are like. Most of them are shite hawks, Jay. Yeah. You know what I mean? They are, I'm telling the truth. And obviously they put a story on United. They get a few quid out of it. It's their job, which is fair enough. But I just think that Sancho, after chasing him for that long, the club's shown the interest in how much they wanted him. With Sancho there, he'll have 2 or 3 good games, he'll have 4 or 5 bad. But I felt sorry for him at first when he came into the team, because he was getting played all over the place. Then he was out of the team, then he was in the team. He needed that run, and then he scored against Liverpool last year. He scored at Leicester away.
Yeah, the winner on it.
Yeah, and I just thought, right, this is time. He was a regular with the England squad. He can't get further away from it now.
No.
You know what I mean? I just think that we're going to keep him till January anyway. So if he gets selected, which he might have to now, Antony's gone, he needs to perform. Put something back into the club, because apparently he's on tremendous wages, I've heard.
He's one of the highest paid players in the league.
Yeah, well, there you go. He needs to put something back into the club. And if you don't want to be there, January, try.
I get your point, right, about Tenag. I feel a little bit sorry for Tenag, though. I do, because I feel it's put on him a bit. At the end of the game, what's happening with Sancho? And I don't think in his head he thought it was that bad what he said. I think he's just sort of, his training wasn't quite there this week, so we've not picked him. And I think maybe there's a little bit of naivety there. Yeah. Maybe he's just like not realised.
Get away with that in Holland.
Yeah. Maybe like he's not realised how much that's going to blow up. What did you make of the player's response, though? Because for the manager to say that is one thing. For the player, and as far as I know, it's still his pinned tweet. Let me just double check. To sort of make that statement on Twitter. That whatever you think of Erik ten Hag's comment, the reaction has made it a bigger story.
Yeah.
Because if he'd have said now...
Well, he's been wrongly advised, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Whether he's done it himself or he's had someone to do it for him.
Yeah.
A lot of the players do, don't they? They don't run the Twitter account, but it looks like he's done that.
Yeah.
Wrongly advised, get rid of it. He could have got rid of it by now. He hasn't got to do. I just don't think there's a future there for him now, Jay. Come January, there was a lot of talk of maybe him going on loan to the Saudi League. That was, some rumours had come up about that last week, but it never happened. I just think that today, hopefully, both will give their heads a wobble, and he's up for selection with Antony not being available for Saturday, because on his day, we know what he can do.
Do you know
That's
what?
the worst thing about it is, Jay, he's got potential and he's not proving it. I seen him in a game last year. I think it was the game we knocked out the Europa League, pulling out a 60-40 tackles on the edge of our area.
Don't get me started on that,
Jay,
bro.
I'm thinking, Christ, me and you would give our right arm and leg to play for United, and he's pulling out the tackles. I'm going in head first,
I know. He's got an habit of that, Sancho. I don't like that about him. He does sort of pull out a lot.
I should jump down the telly and smash his head in.
Oh, mate, it was horrible, that one, wasn't it?
You're thinking if he goes in half-hearted, he could come out a lot worse.
Yeah.
Go and get stuck in.
No, he's not that. He's just not that guy, is he?
Yeah.
Abhinav Verma in the Super Chat says, it's not much of a consolation, but unlike other clubs, we have taken action on players other clubs would have ignored. Greenwood issue. I think the way we went around that, though, seemed to be the wrong way around it. It's like we decided we were going to keep him, and then when we got a bit of a backlash, went the other way. Danny says, massively disagree. Erik ten Hag said nothing but other players trained better, so he wasn't selected. If he lied or avoided it, press would have had a field day. Doesn't seem like there's any sort of happy, medium here. It's like one way or the other there would have been.
I just thought if Fergie comes
fallout
on after the match and he says, well, why didn't Ryan Giggs play today? He just say, well, he was unavailable. Then the story stops. Then it doesn't. You don't get no tweet from the player or anything. It stops in the wood. It just goes to dead. No one mentions it again.
One thing they've got to do as well, the players and the manager, is if the manager is going to do things like that, which I understand your point, then the players have got to be on board with that. If he says, look, if I get asked, I'm telling him you're not available. Yeah. Just because what you don't want is you say he's not available and then Sancho goes, I was. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They've got to stop this sort of disharmony. Yeah. Danny says, Fergie called players out and sold them. Sancho petty. Garnacho literally had Bruno call him out several times, got on with it, and now look, Sancho weak. One thing I will say about this manager is he won't stand for it, will he?
No.
You can tell straight away.
We've had too many managers since Fergie left who bent over and...
Anything like the players wanted to do. Do you know what I always think about me? Like, and I love Ollie. I do, and I'll always love him. But I remember that game against Watford, his last game. Yeah, Harry Maguire gets 2 yellow cards in the space of 5 minutes. Yeah. Just absolutely brainless performance. Yeah. You've got a yellow. Don't do anything stupid. Yeah. 2 minutes later, he does lunges in, gets a second yellow. Sure. So he gets sent off. Costs Ollie his job more or less. Like that result. And as he's leaving, Ollie gives him an handshake. I just think, Ollie, I love you, but you're too nice to them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Well, you should be just right. Maybe you don't want to do it in public. Give him a rollicking, but don't be shaking his hand. It was idiotic behaviour, and I think that's the problem we had with, like you say, Jose went one way though, didn't he? He went too far, probably calling out everyone, falling out of everyone. Ollie tried to do it the other way, worked for a long time, and then the wheels came off. Hopefully, with tonight, we've got the best of both worlds.
I felt sorry for Ollie in a way. Because we had a load of dead wood he had to get out, but he couldn't do it all at once. You know, like I always remember the vision of Lukaku when he was on tour in Australia on that bike yawning. Yeah. You know, because obviously he wasn't fit. He was on an exercise bike and he was yawning. I thought, if Fergie was still the manager, seeing those pictures there, you'd be walking home from Australia.
I know. I mean,
yawning. No disrespect, but in our eyes, we're the biggest club in the world. We always have been, we always will be. Yeah. You know, and if he's yawning on a bike there, I'd walk naked to Australia to get 2 minutes from United.
This is the thing, though.
And he had a lot of dead wood on it, and he was weeding them out. But like you say, he made some bad decisions. Yeah. You know, and the fans could see it, and especially the one he said about Maguire shaking his hand. He's just been sent off, and he's about to cost you your job, Ollie. And he's shaking his hand. Should have punched him in the back of the head walking down that tunnel.
I was raging. I was sat here.
Took the captaincy off him.
Sat there where you are, and I was raging.
I was in Vicarage Road. I was absolutely going ballistic, you know.
It's just
and do you know what, Jay? Just
stupidity.
Do you know what? Seeing some of our fans having a go at Ollie, it broke my heart.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It's horrible, but they were justified. They was justified, mate. You know, because obviously the start he had was an absolute superb start. He couldn't have got any better, than he got offered the job. And I'm not just saying it now, Jay. He should never have got the job. He should be given a load of money and made him director of football and got a winner in. Because no disrespect, Ollie won the Norwegian Sunday Pub League. Yeah. And he got Cardiff virtually relegated. Now, why should he ever manage Manchester United? You know, people...
Well, as a caretaker, he was doing really well. And then what happens, right, we lost at Molineux and we lost at the Emirates. Yeah. We went out of the top 4, we got knocked out of the FA Cup. Yeah. And then they gave him the permanent job. Yeah. You tell me how that makes sense, Webber.
I don't know, mate.
They waited until his run had ended. Yeah. And when it started going a bit Pete Tong, then they give him the job. Yeah. Didn't make any sense. Yeah. Right, let's move on from... Hojlund. One thing I will say about Hojlund is the good thing, he looks like he wants to play for United. Yeah. Wants to be here.
That's what I said all along, Jay. We want players who want to be at the club, not for the money, not for the prestige.
Desire to play for the biggest club in England. So on Martial, he spoke about this, Graeme Souness. He says, I wrote an article 5 years ago stating it was the last chance saloon for Antony Martial, yet he's still starting matches as their main focal point in attack. He isn't a Manchester United player. He will get you excited and then let you down. What do you make of Martial? Because you sort of stuck up for him a little bit in terms of his Arsenal performance.
I've stuck up for French Tony for years, mate. Yeah. You know, I remember in lockdown he went on that run. I remember him getting the hat-trick against Sheffield United at Old Trafford. Yeah. And on his days, he's unplayable, but he just doesn't have that many days. You know what I mean? It proved that when he went on loan and no one put any bids to sign him, you know. And I just think that he got comfy in that position knowing that he didn't have a challenger really up front. He was playing week in, week out. Yeah. You know, and then I think he upped his game a bit when Green would come on the scene because he knew that Mason could have gone down the middle as well. And I just think that is it probably best for everyone all around that he moves to another club, you know. He may be doing me wrong. He might come on Saturday and score a couple of goals and stay. But the major problem is in staying fit, you know. When I seen him touching his hamstring on that lap of honour after the last game of the season, I said to him,
instead of the FA Cup final,
he won't play in the FA Cup final. You could see him like that.
Cost us that, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, people go, we didn't beat, isn't it? Because of Anthony Martial. We needed Martial. You need your best players, and he's better than Weghorst. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We needed him, and he just, again,
He
he's
scored
injured.
last night, didn't he, with his new hairstyle against Ireland?
Mate, he bangs him in, doesn't he? He bangs him in for Hojlund.
Yeah.
Just United, I think he scored 2 goals, didn't he? And I liked his effort and his energy, but he just wasn't a
If you had
level.
11 of him, you wouldn't be far behind for effort-wise.
Effort, about to say, if you had 11 men performance-wise, you would be fine.
You'd be relegated.
But in terms of effort, 100%.
Yeah.
Andy Cole, who is a bona fide United legend and one of the best goal scorers I've ever seen.
Cole.
He spoke about Martial, and he knows a lot more about football than Graeme Souness will ever know. He said Martial has been at United for 8 years now, and he hasn't even scored 100 goals. It's incredible. He's a centre forward at United, and he's played in some fantastic teams. His best performance in the league was 17 goals. He's had more than enough time and opportunity to show United just how good he is, and he unfortunately hasn't been able to do so. I mean, Andy Cole, you know Cole better than I do. He speaks, he's honest. Yeah. He's not got an agenda. He doesn't, as he says himself, he doesn't play that game. He'll tell you what he thinks. Yeah. And he's got the experience and the sort of the know-how around striking in particular that you listen to his opinion. And if he's saying he's not happening for him, come on. That's enough for me.
I was surprised he come back from his loan period, to be honest, but it never worked out over there for him, did it? In
Sevilla, he got 1 goal in the Europa League.
1 goal.
They were chasing the title when he went there.
Yeah.
Lopetegui was the manager. And I think after a few games, he called him out. He said he's just not. He needs to up his game.
Yeah.
And then
I remember him calling him out. He's a decent manager.
Yeah,
is that the old Wolves manager?
Yeah. And then he said, we had Semra Hunter on from La Liga TV, and she was saying it's not happening for him here. He's just not doing anything. Like he's not. She was being quite kind. She said it's just not really happening for him. Comes back to United, gets another chance. And injuries, like you say, Webby. Yeah. Just injuries. Mayor Amateur says, I agree with Webby. Sancho is a player who has a history of mental health. I think we all have a history of mental health. A manager deals with players on an individual basis. Same treatment to Bruno Rashi shouldn't apply to Sancho in this case. I mean, you handled
different. After him for 3 months last year, didn't took him out of the team. You think he'd pay a bit back, you know. He didn't have to do that, didn't he? You know what I mean? You're a professional footballer, mate. Get on with it.
I think he's tried Erik Ten Hag with him. I don't think he's just thrown him under a bus here. Yeah. I think, you know, it's quite rare for a player to be given 3 months to go and sort yourself out, get fit, get whatever it is going on for you, get back to where you should be. Don't forget, when Sancho came back, he was posting on his socials pictures of videos of him and Ten Hag laughing together. I think unless I'm mistaken, I think his profile picture is him and Ten Hag on his Twitter account. His profile pictures of him and Ten Hag laughing together, and his pinned tweet is him pushing back at Ten Hag, so it's just a bit of a mess. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. Get involved in the chat, in the comments. Henry C says, anybody watch that Denmark versus Finland game? No, I didn't. Sorry. Dan Bursey says, like the video. Ten Hag did nothing wrong, says Erland Lenny. Let's talk about Antony and Sancho. Graeme Souness says, I still don't think Antony or Jadon Sancho are long-term solutions for United if they want to win the Premier League and Champions League. They're still relying on Marcus Rashford. I want to focus on that last bit there. They're still relying on Marcus Rashford. Do you think we are still relying on Marcus Rashford? Because we did last season.
Yeah.
He scored like more than half our goals, didn't he? Or something stupid.
I think without his goal, we've been
not more than half,
something like that. Something stupid.
In the Premier League, he scored.
Yeah, I just think that we are relying on him. You know.
Yeah.
You know, we need goals coming from the middle of the park. You know, and it's just not happening. You know, and if Marcus doesn't score, some games you think, well, who is going to score?
Well, this was the issue we had last season. I think if you look at, just looking at in the league in particular, so Marcus got 17 league goals, he got 30 goals in all competition. Bruno got 8 league goals, 14 in all competitions, which is, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's reasonable, I think.
After that.
Yeah, but then you've got, I mean, I'm looking, you've got Martial, you got your 6 league goals, 9 in all competitions, he's injured for most of the season. I mean, his goals per minutes ratio was good, but he didn't play enough minutes. Yeah. Then you look at it and you've got, I'm just having a look now, sorry, bear with me a minute. I know this makes for great television. Well, I mean, there's no one really weighing with anything. Yeah. It's just, you're looking at the players, you think, okay, Antony, 4 league goals.
Casemiro got more than him, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he got 4 as well. Yeah. So Antony's not really getting on the score sheet that often. Then you think...
Didn't Antony score in his first 3 games?
Yeah. And he scored 1 for the rest of the season in the Premier League. He went 6 months without a goal and assist, or 5 months, without a goal and assist in the league. Jadon Sancho, 6 league goals, 7 in all competitions.
Not good enough, is it? It's not good enough.
You need more
if you want to be at the top, you've got to be 15.
Yeah, you need, you look at...
15 goals, 10 assists.
Forgive me for saying this, because I feel sick saying it. But if you look at Arsenal last season, You had Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard all around the 15 goal mark.
Yeah.
When you've got three players doing that, that's fine. When you've only got one, you're in trouble. Yeah. That was just in the league, by the way. And that's why they're at the top end of the table.
Yeah, you're in big trouble.
Right at the top end, because if Saka doesn't score, Martinelli steps up. Martinelli doesn't score, Odegaard steps up. Then you had other players like Nketiah or Reece Nelson popping up with the odd goal that wins you a football match. At United, it's like, if Marcus doesn't do it.
And Bruno, we goosed.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're in all sorts of trouble. Yeah. So yeah, we need to sort it out, and hopefully your man Rasmus Hojlund can do it. Yes. Coach Zach at Elk says, what if Sancho poses about media and fans and not Ten Hag? What's happening with Antony? I live in America and don't get how these things work there. Antony, we'll have to wait and see. There's an investigation going on. Sancho might have been having a dig at the media, but the media were reporting Erik Ten Hag's words. It wasn't opinions. It was the media weren't giving you their take on it. Yeah. It was the words that Erik Ten Hag had said. That, as Webby was pointing out earlier, was the issue. Onana, this is a weird one for me. He said, Graeme Souness on Onana says, I think Onana will make them better at playing out from the back, but he will do the most important. Will he do the most important thing in keeping the ball out of the back of the net? I'm not sure about that one. It's very quick, isn't it, to sort of judge Onana. I think he's a good goalkeeper, mate. Yeah, I like the guy.
Well, he played at some of the top clubs, hasn't he? Ajax, Inter Milan.
Yeah, he's been at Ajax and Inter, and then now he's at us.
So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I just think that you look at Onana there and he needs a stable back four in front of him, you know, one what's going to play most weeks, you know what I mean? He'll get more confident, you know what I mean? For me, I look at the goals he conceded. Obviously, the couple against Forest was a bit, you know what I mean? And then the ones at Arsenal, could he have done anything? With the second one, no deflection, and the third one, was chasing the game. He's come out, he's been done proper by Gabriel. Time will tell, you know. You look at De Gea when he started the Charity Shield, made a right rick up from a shot from about 100 yards. West Brom away, the first league game of the season, let one through his body, and then look what he went to go on.
Blackburn at home.
Blackburn at home. So you got Jay, like you said, every time a goalkeeper makes a mistake, everyone's on him. When you're at Man United,
forget
the universe is on you.
Forget
Not just the world, the universe. Yeah. Everyone's on you.
If you was at Brentford or wherever,
no one give a monkey's shuff.
You wouldn't even heard about it unless you were there. You wouldn't even know unless you'd seen it on the telly.
Yeah.
Happens at United, and even goals that you go, well, is it his fault? Is he a bit unlucky? Deflection or whatever? The press, the media, rival fans are all over you. Dan Burgess says, hi Jay, loving the show. Do you think that having a target man like Hojlund, we could see Sancho start producing the numbers he was doing at Dortmund when he had Haaland playing a similar role? Do you think having someone like Hojlund can help Sancho, Webber?
Yeah, of course, because he's got a player what can hold the ball up for him and bring him into the play more, you know. 9 times out of 10 we play the ball up United and it's getting taken off us.
Yeah.
He's coming back with him. Hopefully he can hold the ball up as Sparky used to do and Rude, and bring the wide players into the game. Much more than that could only bring not just Sancho on, Garnacho on, Palestri, Antony when he comes back. You know, so yeah, I think he will work well for him, you know, because like saying the partnership, the understanding he had with Haaland, it was unreal, wasn't it, at Dortmund? So I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but anything towards that will be a right touch for us.
100%. Mayor Amateur says, keeping the ball out of the net is also a team problem, not just an Onana one. Very well said that. I agree completely. Webby, it's at this time in the show where we do our Wally of the Week. Self-explanatory. Someone who's been a right Wally this last week, just gone. It can be anyone. It can be a thing. It can be a person. It can be a group. Whoever you want it to be. Is there anyone who stands out for you as being a bit of a Wally of the Week?
Well, Graeme Souness. Some of his comments.
Obviously, yeah, welcome.
There's plenty of Wallies. My next door neighbour. When he started playing that music at 12 o'clock the other night, I wanted to kill him. But there you go.
What music was it?
It was, you know, if the music wouldn't have been as bad, I think I would have knocked on, but it was a bit of Rod Stewart and a bit of jam, so it was right on my Strasser. So yeah, it was all right, but it's still a Wally for playing it at 12 o'clock at night.
No.
But I say Graeme Souness, you know what I mean?
Souness.
I like Souness. Right, I'll be truthful with you now. I was around watching football when he was in it.
Yeah.
Could play the game, no disrespect for that. Had the nasty side to him as well, which you can see on YouTube. He's one at range where he jumps on someone and like done nothing wrong. Big up to what he did for that young girl swimming the channel. That got to my heartstrings. But Graeme, you've had a great career in media and playing wise. Just keep out of it now. Just relax. You know, have a nice glass of wine every night. You don't need to be doing these articles. Are you bored? Is your missus doing your sculling? You want to get back into the public eye. But some of your things are right, but some of them, Casemiro, a steady header. Please, call the police.
Webby, that might be one of my favourite Wally of the Weeks ever. For Wally of the Week, I'm going to go with... And I need to look into this properly, but I'm going to go... It's not even I'm not blaming a person or a group. I'm just saying this situation with the TRA and the club needs sorting out. Because I go in the TRA. I love going in the TRA. And we're now in a situation where you've got statements coming out and there's all this arguing going on with the TRA, and apparently there was reports that they've been classed as a risk group. Then the club is saying, well, that's not the case, but they've been they were looked at, but they're not.
Who's put them as a risk group?
I don't know. Apparently GMP looked at it, but didn't in the end. But whatever has gone on there, it needs sorting. I love going in the TRA. I think the players love it, the manager loves it, because it does help generate an atmosphere at Old Trafford. It's always getting flagged up. You know, Webby, you've been
I'm at the other end of the ground, Jay,
more than anyone.
And it's absolutely great to see.
Exactly.
It's absolutely great. The noise, what's coming out and everything. And if that goes to pot, we're back to normal, but...
Yeah, it needs sorting. It does. People need to get around the table, sort it out, and hopefully the manager and Jadon Sancho have got around the table and sorted it out as well, because we need all players singing for the same song. I'd like to get
Graeme Souness round the table with a big baseball bat. I'm joking.
Oh, he's joking. By the way, we don't advocate
no.
damaging baseball bats on Stretford Paddock. No. Big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this. Big thank you to Webby. Go and check out his channel, Webby and O'Neill. Let me just stick another little cheeky... little link in that
for a bit. I've not been on it for ages. On your match on
well, someone commented then saying Webby's not been on it for ages. I love it, but he's not been on it. So getting back on. So he will be back on there soon, and we'll have him back on here again soon as well. That's been Webby. I've been Jay. This has been the Paddock Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring us too. Thanks for watching.